Hey, my name is Phil from funnelscene.com. In this Systeme.io webinar tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can set up webinar funnels quickly and easily in your business using Systeme.io. Now, if it's your first time on the channel, make sure you smash that thumbs up button. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up to date with more tutorials that I'm bringing out in the near future. And also, if you haven't even got started with Systeme.io yet, if you use the link in the description, which is free to get started, I'm also going to enroll you in my Funnel Scene course, which is going to teach you how to actually use Systeme.io as well as make income like the results that you're seeing on the screen right now. So go ahead, check that out. Once again, link in the description. Okay, so first of all, let's get started with our webinar funnel. Now we're going to get straight into it. Just to let you know right now, it is an evergreen webinar only. This isn't a live webinar platform where you can invite people with the link and you can have comments and chats and things like that inside of it. It is an evergreen webinar. So basically you need to pre-record the video, then you can upload it and create an evergreen webinar scenario inside of Systeme.io so you can create an automated experience. And we'll go through that in a moment. But just to let you know, this isn't a webinar platform, it's an evergreen webinar platform, which is amazing considering it's part of all of the plans inside a Systeme. So to get started, what you want to do is come over to funnels, go ahead, click on create, and you want to go and create a new funnel. For this one, I'm just going to call it the YouTube webinar test, right? And for the domain, I'm going to use my funnel scene domain like so. You're going to choose your default currency if you are selling on it, which I highly recommend. And then finally, we want to choose run an evergreen webinar. So go ahead, click on that and click on create. Now I'll leave some timestamps in the description if you want to jump back and forth throughout this video, just in case you missed something. So now we have got 3 steps of a funnel created. All of them are different. The first one is the registration, which someone is going to put in their name and email address. The second is the thank you, which is going to give them their link to the webinar. And finally, we have here the webinar broadcast. So what I'm going to do is build these pages in front of you live and explain how everything works. So for the first one, I'm just going to choose the second template here. Go ahead, click on select. You can choose whichever one's right for you. Now we have a few options here. For me, I always start with a webinar, with the URL link. So I'm just going to call this webinar YouTube. Next, we've got the name. I'm going to call this the YouTube success webinar, right? And then here we have a webinar duration. Now this is going to be the length of your video. Reason being is it's going to simulate a real live webinar. So you want to have the accurate length of the webinar. So if someone clicks on it halfway through, then they're not actually going to see the entire webinar, but you'll be able to resend them a link and things like that. So if you hover over the question mark here, it tells you a little bit about it. So for example, 3,600 seconds is 1 hour. So if you had it say for 3,600 seconds and someone pops in the 3,500 second, they're actually only going to see 100 seconds of the webinar. So this is just basically what it's trying to say. You can leave it for 2 hours if you wish, if it's only an hour long, and then you can work on things like the deadline funnel if you wish. It's entirely up to you. I highly recommend putting it the length of your video. So I'm just going to leave it here for 2 hours. Go ahead, click on save. And if you want to have a quick look of what it looks like, this is the basic registration page here. So it's going to say, click here to reserve your spot. It's got a little pop-up and it's got your information. Now, this is today's date. It automatically updates and it's got a time here, which you can sort out later on. So let's go to the second page here, which is the thank you. Now there's only 2 options here, but that's completely fine. You don't really need to have much on here. So I'm going to go ahead, click on select, and I'll show you what it looks like. Now I'm not going to bother changing any of this. It doesn't really matter. Someone's going to get redirected anyway. So you won't actually have to, use this link for anything. So I'm going to go ahead and click edit page just to show you what it looks like and talk about some suggestions that you could do. So first of all, we have here the webinar session date time. If you click on that, it's going to give you just your standard padding options and everything. Basically what this does is it auto updates. At the moment, my actual time is 1:23 p.m. So this is bang on what it is. So it automatically updates. And this link here also automatically updates to your domain URL. So everything's really good inside of there. But what I recommend you do is talk about some benefits that you're going to get inside of here. Obviously change your name and things like that. And if your template is a little bit different to the initial, like mine is here, I would probably go and make it all congruent. It's interesting how they haven't got sort of congruent funnels for the entire thing, but I would go through and change the color and everything so it matches, right? So that's basically what I would do on this page. So I'm going to go back and I'll show you what it looks like in preview as well. I might as well open all these pages. So here will automatically change when we go through it in a moment, but this is going to be the link people can use to attend. And here's going to be all your information, right? And as you can see, it's already auto changed. So it's pretty cool. Right, so let's go to the last step and then I'll show you how everything works. So in here is the webinar broadcast. I'm just going to choose the first design once again. And inside here, you could change the URL path if you wish, because what you can do is you can send someone an email to watch the replay, and this would be the replay link. So I could say webinar replay, for example, right? And I would say here replay, or you could say, hey, I'm going live again and send this link. So that's all there. If I hover over that and have a look as well, this is what it's going to look like, okay? So it's got an automatically built-in timer, which is really cool. And then as you'll see, once the timer counts down, the page is going to appear, and here is the video. Sorry for the noise. So this is the webinar, right? So it's all very good. So what we want to do is edit this webinar, because this webinar is going to be the most important page of all of it, as this is going to be where all your training is, and you want to sort of sell people on this step, right? So it's just your standard video, right? You can put in a direct link, you can upload a file. So the link could be to, Vimeo, it could be to YouTube, could be to anything like that, or else you could just upload a file directly. Uploading it directly would probably make it run a little bit smoother as well, so I'd probably recommend doing that. But the big thing about this page, right? So I was playing around with it before, and when you're on a webinar, you're usually on it for, say, if it's an hour-long webinar, you're on it for about 40 minutes before they've told you everything about this training, what you're going to get, all the benefits. They've potentially sold you into some bonus ideas. Now they're going to pitch you what the actual price point is. So what we want is something that's not going to show the information right up front. Instead, we want it to appear a certain time after we've actually started the broadcast. So that's what you can do inside of this particular webinar sort of option inside of Systeme. So let's just say we wanted to add an entirely new row, say here. So we'll put it some margin so it sticks down a little bit like so. Then what we can do is say drag in a double column if we want, and we can make this entire row white actually. I think white would stick out quite nicely. White, yep, and we'll put a little border. So I'll come down, put a solid border. This is just for aesthetics as well, guys. So just so it sticks out for this tutorial. So I might give it a 10 packs border. So it looks like it's got a bit of urgency here. You could drop in, say, a headline, maybe an image over here, like so. I've already got an image added. Now, for some reason, the image sometimes gets a bit buggy when you drop it in. It seems to be fine this time, but sometimes it just comes up with a random box. But anyway, just delete it and do it again. It works fine. We've got here webinar call to action. Now, the call to action is just a button. Right, I don't know why they called it call to action. It's literally just a button. Maybe I should talk to Aurelian about that, but that's cool. So we've got here, say, my H1, or it's probably H2, but I'll bold it just to make it look like a thing. I'm going to call this my awesome course bundle, right? So it looks like a course bundle there. I just took this from the internet as well. I might add some text here, maybe add some bullets, maybe add some more text and some more bullets. Now, the reason I have 2 lots of text and 2 lots of bullets, because it's sort of like a selling psychology type thing. So with the awesome bundle, you will get all of this, right? Something like that. I might even left align it like so. Now inside here, I might even put a bit of a left indent, like say 15, right? 15, and then these are just sentences, just so you know. So I'll just be like, awesome module 1, right? And I might just copy that, paste, 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 just so you can sort of see how it would look, right? And fast action bonuses, right? People love bonuses. So you put fast action bonuses, and in this one, Same thing again. I might even delete it so I don't have to worry about the indent. Okay, so I'll put this down the bottom. Okay, so this could be bonus, bonus 1, something cool, and value could be 197, right? Ooh, like that. And then I'll just do the same thing just to give you an idea of what it could look like. So we've got here some bonuses. You know, people are like, wow, I get all of this content, right? I'll put a little bit of a top thing here. And now an important factor that we usually want to add in is a countdown. So I'll add the countdown down the bottom. Once again, I'll give it a little bit of padding, right? So say 12, and then I'll crank up the size and the font a little bit. Looks pretty good, right? And you can either set it by a fixed time and date, or you can put it with a delay. So let's just say this thing pops up with 20 minutes left. Let's just say I want to give them 2 hours, or even an hour 15 to decide. So when this appears, it's going to count down from an hour 15, or you could even have less, like 45 minutes or something, right? So I might even do that. 45 minutes, there's a bit of urgency, so it makes them want to sell. Sorry, it makes them want to buy, not sell. Yeah, so that's why I've got it here, 45 minutes. Now, we've created this cool little thing. We don't want it to appear straight away. We want it to appear at a certain time throughout the video. So what we can do is, once again, click on the row, scroll right down to the bottom, right? And then we can put here, it's usually on 0, I was playing with it, display delay before displaying item. So here you want to type it, it's done in seconds, so figure out how long you want to put. So let's just say for this example, so I can show you what it actually looks like, I'll just put 10 seconds. But what you want to do is choose an amount of time. If it's say 40 minutes, 40 times 60, get that number, put it in here, and then 40 minutes in, when you actually start talking about the pitch, this is going to appear. But for this example, I just put 10 seconds so you can see what it actually looks like. So I'll save the changes. I'll go for the preview. Sometimes the preview looks a little bit funky, but basically what it is, once again, is the timer. Now, depending on how you set your timer, will be different amounts of time. Just for the preview, it always sets for 10. Okay, so I'll turn off the sound. So we'll just wait a few seconds here, and I'll show you what it's going to look like. So obviously your own branding, your own video. But once your time's ready, here it is here. We've got the bundle which has appeared. Now, once again, this looks a bit funky because it's in preview mode, but when you actually look at the page, it looks pretty cool, which I'll show you. 45-minute countdown has started. Everything's looking good. So what we need to do now is make a order form for our bundle that we've created, and then we can actually go ahead and launch this entire webinar funnel, right? So it's pretty cool. Now, if you're selling something else on another website, maybe you're using another payment processor, you can just directly link to that. But for this example, I'll quickly go and create an order form. So I'm going to go back to my system dashboard. I'm going to create a new step, right? I'm going to call this the order form and choose the type of form I want. So you're going to scroll down to order form, right? Click on save. And now that is good to go. Choose an order form that you want to use. So something nice and simple. So I'm probably more leaning towards this one. It's nice and clean. Of course, you do you decide what's best. And then what we want to do is, you can just leave everything here. We want to have a URL that's something that we can remember in case we need it. So I'm just going to call this YouTube order, right? Now, what we need to do is link it obviously to the course. So resources, what will the customer get once they have, what will they get access to after the purchase? So I'm going to click on plus, choose a resource. You've got course bundle, tag, or physical product. I'm going to choose course. For this example, I'm just going to choose the Funnel Scene V2, which is just a test account, and choose the course, drip or full access. I'm going to choose full access. So that's done. Now we want to choose a price. So I'm going to click on choose a price. I'm going to call it, I'm actually going to create a new one just for this example. I'm going to call this the YouTube webinar bundle, right? Pricing plan used on the page. I'm just going to call this the one-time price, because this is going to be the plan name. Statement descriptor, I'm going to call it, say, Phil's YouTube course, right? And type, this is just going to be a one-shot price, right? And then the amount is going to be, say, $197. Click on save. That's ready to go. So that's there, YouTube webinar bundle. And I'm going to go ahead and click on save. Now what you want to do is, if I just give you a quick preview so you understand what we have, here's the order form. You can obviously customize it however you want, put in lots of information, add in, the image, all that sort of good stuff. This is just an example. So what I'm going to do is copy this link, right? Come back to webinar replay. I'm going to edit this once again, and I'm going to put this button inside of here, right? So call to action, click on that, and button is, I'm going to rename it to get the awesome bundle, right? Put in the link and click on save. So what's going to happen now is once this appears, you'll be talking about the actual sale inside the video. You're going to be showing them all these cool things they're going to get. You're going to upsell them with all the bonuses as well. They're going to be very sold. So they're going to click on your button and it's going to take them to the sales page. So let's just have a quick look. Now, once again, it's just going to look a little bit funny on the preview mode, but don't worry. Once you've put in your own video, once everything's live and you're looking at the real version, it's going to look proper. So just going to wait here for a few seconds again. And just so you know as well, in the Systeme has also launched what they call the deadline funnel, which I'll talk about in another video, but it's something very cool that you can use in this as well. Okay, so that's all done. Click on the awesome bundle, get the awesome bundle. It's going to take them here and they can go ahead and check out. The only thing I would probably add to that now that we have got our fourth step is probably a fifth step, which would be a thank you page, right? So this could be the purchase success, right? Like so. Come down and choose the thank you page. Click on save. And this is going to give you some templates. Thank you for your order. Thank you for your order. So choose the one that sort of resonates with you the best. Customize it to how you want. So I'm just going to choose the simple one here. Right. Click on save. And now this entire funnel is completed, right? Now there's actually one more thing that I have left out, and that's the pop-up on the first page. So if I come back to this first page, click on this button, this is the pop-up here. This is the one we want to customize now. So what you want to do is come all the way back to the first page, click on the little edit page tab, right? Click on that. It's going to load, and then you'll see this little pop-up button at the top. Click on that, and you're going to see pop-up number 1 is there. Click on the eye for it to appear, and here it is here. Now what we want to do is change the image, change the information, like say watch the free training or something like that, and then you want to come down to webinar registration date, and by default I accidentally did this before without recording it. It's going to be on scheduled time, and it's probably going to have say 16 and 20 on it, something like that, right? Which means it's only going to run at 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. every night. Now that can be fine for a lot of people. However, if you want to make it a little bit different, what you can do is get rid of those, choose next quarter. And what that means is the webinar is going to start in 15 minutes, making it more automated, making it's going to run all day, every day. If someone signs up at 2, they're going to be watching at 2:15. If someone watches at 3:30, they're going to be watching at 3:45 type of thing. Now, none of these will go directly into the webinar because that loses sort of the urgency. If you've got a good enough sort of pitch for people to come and watch the webinar, then they're going to stick around for 15 minutes. If they're just wanting to flick through it, then that's what's going to happen if you have it set to straight away. So next quarter, I probably would prefer using the most because that's what most marketers do anyway. So go ahead, choose next quarter. Now go ahead and save changes once again. Now if I come back to this very first page, reload this page, and click here to reserve my spot, you'll notice that at the moment the time is 1:45 or 13:48, and this is saying the next spot's at 2 o'clock. So I'm going to go ahead, put in my pseudo name, right, like so, and click here. It's going to take me to the next page, and here is my customized link. As you can see, next training is at 2 p.m., which is like 11 minutes away. So I'm going to go ahead, click on that, and now it's going to be the countdown timer for the next scheduled sort of thing, right? So it works in quarter of an hour increments, right? So it's always going to be rounded up to the next one. So if you're at, say, for example, I'm on 1:48 right now, it's going to launch at 2. If you're at like 3:55, it's going to launch at 4, if that makes sense. So what I'm going to do is pause this video, let this run out so I can show you what it looks like. Okay, so here we are, and sure enough, the time is finished. Just turn that down for a little bit. So once again, if we wait 10 seconds, now the video might do that crazy thing again. Yep, it has. That's annoying, but I actually just did some investigating and found out why. It's actually one of my Chrome extensions is causing a conflict with it. But what I've done is actually gone back, added in a little HTML code like so, and it's going to work properly now. Just so you know, if you are one of these people that are having this issue, this might be a little bit too technical, but it's just because I've got a Chrome extension, I'm pretty sure anyway. What you want to do is go to inspect, right click inspect on Chrome, click on this little guy here, and wait till you highlight this row. See how everything's highlighted with the green? So you want to click on that, and now if we come to the right, this little code here is the one you want, and this display one is wrong. So what we want to do, just backspace, press down until it says contents, like it does there, press enter, right? Now it all looks perfect. Then what you want to do is just copy all of this, right? So right click, copy, come to your editor, right? Drop in an HTML, raw HTML at the bottom, like so. As you can see, I've done one there. Click on that, edit code, backspace all of that. Type in bracket style, right? Out bracket, press enter, and paste in your code like so, right? Go ahead, click save, and then that is all good to go. So I've got it there twice now, but yeah, once you've done that, it'll work. It's a bit of an annoying thing. It didn't happen to me just before, but that's because I tried it on a different computer. However, it's all good to go now, and this is how it looks. So it looks pretty good. Everything works. I'm very happy. Sorry for the workaround. We gotta do what we gotta do sometimes, right? Anyway, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you smash that thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe. If you are not with Systeme yet, use the link in the description to sign up, and I'll also give you free access to my funnel scene course, which is going to cost money soon, so make sure you get it while it's free. Apart from that, thanks for watching. Less than 22 minutes, we created a full webinar funnel. Very stoked with it. That's it from me. I'll see you on the next video.